Now, our next guests are recovering drug addicts. One has battled the streets with homelessness, while the other has been in and out of prison from a young age. Both of their lives have dramatically changed thanks to RADE, otherwise known as Recovery Through Art, Drama and Education. With us this morning to talk us through their stories is Janet Duff and Albert Redmond, and the director of RADE, Michael Egan. Good morning, folks. You're very welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Let's start with Michael and tell us about RADE, how it came about, how long you're operating, how you can get on the course, and who runs it.
It started in 2004. I worked with a theatre group called Down to Earth Theatre Company. We were travelling around the schools. And previously I had worked for the Merchant's Quay project doing theatre, drama shows in the project, and that had worked very well. So we started in 2004 then, and people come on the programme through word of mouth, through clinics, through doctors, through... And
how do they come to you in terms of the length of time, or sign up for the course, or suitable for the course, or, you know, because you've only a limited number of places, I would imagine? Yeah, well, the project, basically, it doesn't eliminate. There was a time probably when you were a drug user that you wouldn't have been considered and accepted on any. There was very few places you'd be accepted. Only for abstinence programs. So people would come on to RADE. There would be some people who'd come on who have just gotten completely clean. There'd be some people who'd still be dabbling, that'd be in street drugs. There'd be some people who'd just be on the medicated drugs. So it's that mix, because that's the mix, that's the community mix that people are in the real world. It's not like as though drugs go away the day you come out clean from a detox centre. So that is the environment people are living in. There is a lot of drugs around, be it alcohol on every corner or whatever. And how difficult does that make it to monitor the group? Or does it? No, I find we don't have it. We don't have, well, I suppose the main issue for us is we'd have no tolerance of people coming in affected or stoned on the programme. But what people do outside of that time, we wouldn't particularly interfere in, but in order to achieve our goals, which is putting on theatre shows, making film, producing art exhibitions, producing a book of creative writing each year. We have a heavy workload for the year, and we go into shooting our next film in 2 weeks' time, and that starts rehearsal this morning. And who funds all this for you? Well, we do it on a shoelace. And FOSS, training grants. We get a small grant from the Drugs Task Force. We get Dublin City Council have been great champions of RADE since we started. They've provided us with the space and a studio to operate out of. And just generally we've had a lot of goodwill from a lot of artists particularly, who've given a lot of their time to... we've worked with some of Ireland's leading contemporary artists. And you've received awards. You've been a lot of the Irish Times Award, Star gave you a year-on-year award as well, which is tremendous stuff. Albert, how did you get on the course? And you've taken a shine to the old writing, which is good.
Well, I first became aware of RADE through a previous place where I was working was Bridge, you know. And how I became involved in Bridge was I came out of prison, in my last spell in prison was in 2006, so I came out in the summer of 2007. And I went straight into Bridge, which was part of my conditions. So when that finished then, was after 2 years in Bridge, I was told about RADE, you know, so I went down, I got an appointment, and I rang up every week. So eventually my persistence paid off. I was called in for a final interview, and then I joined RADE in April 2010, and I'm still there, and everything I'm doing, the writing, as you said, that's an ongoing, and I'm also doing an evening course of writing as well. And what RADE has done for me is it's opened up my eyes to everything that I was missing out on, you know, because every time I was locked up, you know, I says, when I come out the next time, this is going to be the time. And I did mean to do it, but every time I got out, I went back on the drugs, you know, and that threw me back, and then I was back to square one, you know. And I had a great support from my family all the time, and it just didn't happen for me. But when I got out in 2007, I don't know where it was, something just said to me, it has to be different this time, you know, because I just had to be. So that's when And it's not easy, you know, like, it's still not easy today, but I'm off drugs 5 years now, you know.
Well done.
Yeah, and thanks very much. And I'm on the methadone, but that's keeping me going at the moment, but I'm eventually going to get off that as well, you know. But with me being in RADE, you know, it gives me a place to go every day. And I do a lot of things as art, drama, you know.
And did you realise that you were capable or interested in doing all these things prior to signing up? Did you feel deep inside that I can do creative writing, I can do anything I really want within the environment?
Yeah, well, see, for me, writing was always part of my life, but I never pursued it because of the drugs. But when I went into RADE, it actually enhanced it for me, you know. It gave me the ability to say, well, you have the confidence to do this, you know, because I wrote all my life since I was a child, you know, but I just generally put it on the back burner because I just, you know, you know the way you do. I didn't think I had a voice or an opinion or anything like that.
Well, you have now, and you have a voice that you can build on through RADE.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll be seeing some more published stuff in the not too distant future.
Yeah.
And Jenna, you have stories. Well, you spent all the time out on the streets, living on the streets.
Yeah, I did, Aidan. Excuse me. I come from a very good family. I had a good leaving cert, but I'd always dabbled in drugs, which resulted in me ending up on the streets. And it's very hard, of course, being a single girl on the streets. I was in and out of hostels a lot, and I'd really given up on myself at 25. Like, I had seen no future for myself. I was always interested in music. I sang and I played guitar. I wrote, as Albert did. And then I was staying in a hostel, and I got in a methadone program, and every day I was still going out begging, and it just turned to winter, and I was like, I'm sick of this. Enough is enough. So I just stuck to the methadone, and slowly but surely I just stayed away from the streets. And then I found out about RADE. My key worker told me, and I was never interested in acting, which I love now, but I love writing and I loved music, so I was really intrigued, and I went down to RADE. But I mean, it's not easy. They test you. It's not like you just walk in the door. You have to show consistency. You have to ring every week, and I rang every week, and eventually I got accepted. I wasn't really looking forward to the drama, to be honest. I was really nervous about that. But the improv classes, I mean, we're such a great group. The support you get from the other people there and from the staff.
It must give you huge confidence.
Yeah, well, I'm doing the Gaiety School of Acting now. I'm going to graduate in 3 weeks from the Introduction to Acting course, and I'm hoping to go on to do another course. I never would have seen that in my wildest dreams happening.
Michael, that must make you feel so proud. I mean, you know, building careers, building futures for people that, you know, themselves thought nothing's going to happen for me in this lifetime.
Yeah, well, strangely enough, the drugs, there's such a panic around the whole drugs theme, and it's sold so many newspapers, and it's just so high up there, such a heated issue. And usually it means that we label people with names like junkie, nuisance. I don't find that. I don't experience that. I find people who've lived on the edge, like a lot of writers, like a lot of artists will often have spent a lot of their lifetime on the edge, and then it's about writing from that unique perspective or putting it into any art expression. So there's merit in it. This is not a patronising thing. It's not about, aren't they great to get up on stage and they can wave to their mammy and daddy or their whatever. It's not that. No, we actually believe that we're making art. We can compete with we're on the cutting edge of a lot of the artwork that's happening in this city today.
Excellent.
And it's a creative outlet. I mean, my relapse would have been a lot of the time because of nothing to do and kind of my time just getting bored. I mean, RADE gives you, we finish at 2 every day, but you can stay there till 6. And I mean, when I would have triggers or cravings, I can paint now, I can act, I can play the ukulele. I've learned the ukulele. I have so many creative outlets now that drugs just don't really come into play.
All right, we're going to leave it there. Brilliant stuff.
Thanks
Great and uplifting
much.
and a good story. Thanks very much, and continued success to you and to RADE, of course, as well in particular. Thanks for
you very much.
Thank you very much.